opening statement. We'll open up for questions.
Yeah, I mean, gutsy win. I don't like the group just found a way. They really did. It was bleak many, 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 many times, and we just kept making plays, and we made the plays when they had to be made to keep ourselves in there, and we also made a lot of plays to get ourselves out of the game, and that's the stuff that we have to clean up. It's a lot easier to clean up after a win because there's going to be a lot of learning from this, but with our group, and I don't like to talk about having players hurt or being man down, like, because nobody cares. They really don't. And you have to play. We had 5 guys, and our 5, we had 8, whatever how many guys, and they each came out and competed. And that's what it took tonight against a tremendous team. That's a very well-coached team, very organized team, and a very veteran team. They're going to have a lot of success this year, just like they have in the past. I told my staff, I told even people before, like, this game scared the hell out of me. Okay, because I saw on tape how good this team was. I saw how physical their guards are, how organized they are defensively. Their bigs are quick out of pick and roll action. They defend you. They make you beat them. And, that's a sign of a really well-coached team.
Did you say anything to Q sort of at the end of regulation? And what do you make of how his performance to just take that ball in OT and just go into tie it up and really give you guys a chance?
I wish I could remember if I told him anything. I really don't. Probably just to be aggressive. But he scored 5 straight points. To put it in. Was that in regulation? He scored the 5 points, or was that the first overtime? When he drew the foul, it was overtime.
Yeah.
And but that's just what he does. And that's why he's analytically one of the highest rated guards in the country last year. The last 10 seconds of the clock. And, he made a tremendous play. Like, in regulation, he just rushed that tip a little bit. And I'll give their kid credit, 23, I think, when we got the rebound with 5 seconds, Des raced it up. Des had a layup, and their kid flew in from nowhere and blocked it. I saw him. He got a hand on it. And then Kamari just kind of rushed the tip, thinking he was going to be late on the clock. But, he made some just huge plays, down the stretch, making all 3 free throws. That's hard to do. Especially in that situation.
And then to that, where there's several maybe unsung heroes in this game. It seemed like you got some good minutes from your freshman Jasir there.
It's awesome.
And even Somerville. Obviously guys who but even Frank and his blocks. So just maybe a thought or two about those guys.
Yeah, really proud of Jasir. He just keeps getting better and better. He flies around. He's athletic. He's starting to do the right thing and be in the right place, to where now he can use his athleticism. I thought maybe the play of the game was him getting that offensive rebound too. It put it to a 2-possession game. We missed a free throw there at the end. I think we were up 3 or 4. He got the offensive rebound and made 2 free throws, to kind of extend it, which was huge. He made some big-time effort plays. Frank, I thought that little energy spurt he had with probably 10 minutes left in the game, we went to our 1-3-1 defense, which, to be honest, we practiced for about 3 minutes. We walked through it the other day. And I wasn't planning on using it tonight. I just wanted to show our guys. But we couldn't stop them, and we were getting in foul trouble, so we had to go to it. And we probably got 5 or 6 straight stops, which kind of changed the momentum of the game. And Frank was a big part of that. Frank and JJ on that back line, walling up and making, their guard who was getting downhill score over them, was tremendous. And that kind of sparked us. That got us back into the game to give us a chance. And like I said, Lathan too, really proud of him because I've challenged him the last couple days, we need more from him. And he knows that, we do. We need more rebounding. He needs to be a bully on the block. He's got to be physical down there. And I thought he had, the basket he made, I don't even remember if it was regulation or overtime, but that little jump hook he had, was a huge shot for us.
You still had a couple minutes left in the second overtime. Des was back in the locker room. You had 3 guys on the floor with 4 fouls.
Yeah.
Cortland was the only one left on the bench.
And Wazoom was probably already fouled out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was going through your head?
I was just hoping we had 5 guys to finish the game, And like I said, it was hard to call plays because we have guys in different spots that they don't know. We can't run some of our sets because they don't know them. There's times, Wes is at the 4 tonight. Desmond hasn't played in 6 weeks, and so which is a heck of an effort by him too to play 34 minutes. And he was on a minute restriction, but I wasn't making eye contact with our trainer tonight. Like we had to keep him in the game.
I'm sure you had a conversation with Cortland about playing tonight and burning his red shirt. Can you share with us?
Yeah, we need him. He's a part of the team, and he's gonna continue to help us. Like his minutes were short, but like what he did, like that's what we need from him right now. And his role will continue to expand, but that's what we need from him. And he's got to come with a great attitude every day because he can affect the game defensively, and we're gonna need him. In Palm Springs, in Big Ten play against some of these guards, like he's got to be able to give us some great defensive minutes against some of these guards.
You talked about the clutch shots that Kamari hit down the stretch, but can you talk a little bit about the fact that he played all 50 minutes in this game?
Yeah. we had to have him play 50. Thank God we get 2 days off and we don't have a game for a little while because this group needs it. But he's just a tough kid. He is, and not just play 50 minutes. He was guarding their leading scorer, the kid that took 27 shots. Like that's a lot of energy that he had to expend on the defensive end too.
And then you talk about the fact that nobody cares that you're a man down or two. But can you talk a little bit about the resiliency that you just saw out of your team tonight, down 12 in the second half, down 5 with 30 seconds to play in overtime?
Yeah, and it was like not only were we down, but it was like we weren't getting any breaks either. We weren't like we were missing wide open shots. We'd get to the free throw line and we'd miss 2, or we'd make 1 of 2, and then they'd come and score. They hit some tough shots in the second half, especially early. I thought we were playing great defense and with great energy. And they threw up a couple at the end of the shot clock that it was kind of like it just kind of took the wind out of our sail for a sec. But like I said, for our group to just find a way, like really proud of them. Because this group, they haven't been put in that situation yet. That's the first time we've been in that situation. And for them to respond with our backs to the wall where we're just getting walloped. Like it wasn't a fight. Like we were getting our ass kicked, and we were almost out, and we just kind of kept getting back up and throwing one more punch, throwing one more punch, throwing one more punch. And, thank God time ran out in that second overtime.
Talking about Desmond, beyond just the resiliency of playing through that minute restriction, and being a senior, just the experience and kind of just the steady head he brings, but just how impressive was it to just see him his first game back this season and just he led you guys in scoring for most of the game.
Yeah.
Just how impressed were you from what he showed out there tonight?
Yeah, super impressed. That's who he is, though. That's why he's a great player. I thought he got us off to a great start too. I don't know if he scored 7 straight. Right in that first kind of chunk he was in. He hit a 3, got a layup. He had some big time, post ups in the second half and even finding guys for shots. And that's what he does. Like he's a big guard. He's really hard to keep out of the paint and guard 1-on-1. And as soon as you run 2 at him, somebody else is getting a shot. Now you could see he was a little rusty. When he turned his back, like they'd run and try to double him, and he turned it over a couple times where, like that won't happen next weekend.
And apologies if you already talked about this, but do you guys have an update on this and what his status might be for you guys next game?
Yeah, I don't. Him and Bryson, I don't have an update yet. They're both doing pretty well. Like I know they're both still pretty swollen up. But that's why this group needs these couple days off, especially those guys and even Des, to just get healthy and healthier. And I don't know. I doubt they'll practice this week. Hopefully by mid next week they're back. Mm-hmm.
Seemed like in the first half you guys were having some issues with some of the screen action they were doing at the top of the key. What exactly was the issue there, and then what was the adjustment at halftime to kind of?
Yeah, we had trouble the first 30 minutes. We couldn't stop it. That's why we had to go to the 1-3-1. They do a really good job because their guards are quick. 3 and 10, and their bigs are really athletic. So they'd come. Sometimes they'd set it. Sometimes they just slip out of it and go to the rim, and you got a single side over it, so you have to tag. And if you tag, they're throwing it to a shooter and getting a wide open 3. And we really couldn't give up threes at that point when we were down because 1 or 2 threes and game's out of reach. And so, it was hard. And Frank and Lathan finally kind of got a hang of it, where they'd show and then have to get back. And then our guards did a better job knifing over and getting back in front and forcing them to the loaded side. But they're still a load, and that's why they drawed a lot of fouls. Those are quick. Those are high-level guards.
Danny, I know it's a hard way to do this, but could this game be as pivotal as any, maybe with all of your guys having to play with freshmen, they're not just sitting and watching, they're all
Yeah.
out there scrapping. There's a lot of benefit to this game, even though
No
you get
question.
punished for it, right?
Yeah. And like I said, a lot of it, like we're going to learn so much after we watch the tape, you know, the good and the bad. You know, like this game will help us win another game this year. Like being in some of those scenarios, those situations, and guys having the belief that we can do it. You know, no matter how much we're down. Like when we're at home, you know, we always got another run in us. You know, and I thought the crowd, I thought they were tremendous tonight. Like when Kamari hit that 3, you know, I think it cut it to 7. Like the place exploded. Their coach did a great job, called timeout, and they went on a 5-0 run because we missed a couple free throws and open shots after that. But I thought, you know, the crowd like really spurred us that last 10 minutes of the game when we started getting some stops and playing with some energy, and then obviously in overtime.
Time for one or two more. Wesley Yates, he gets 4 fouls there with about 7 or so minutes
Yeah.
way through that second half, and he somehow stayed in the game. What can you say about his basketball IQ and ability to just find a way to stay in the game the rest of the game?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he had to. He started guarding without fouling. You know, like he was fouling, and so was Zoom. Like those guys have to. We have to get better at guarding in the post and moving our feet without fouling. Like when we're grabbing guys, they're going to call it, and we can't afford those guys to get in foul trouble. You know, and it's something that it's. You know, those guys have been in foul trouble a lot now. You know, the first couple games of the year, and we can't afford that. Like we got to be able to move our feet, you know, and guard without grabbing guys. But like I said, I mean, proud of Wesley staying in there the last 7 minutes of the game without fouling and coming up with some 50-50 balls too, which was huge. And to their credit, and we told the team before the game, the 50-50 balls and long rebounds, that was going to be the key to the game. And to be honest, they kicked our ass for the first 45 minutes of the game. And then we finally started getting some of them.
What was it that changed there in that second half to go on that run? You guys were down 12, and then you find a way to get back in it, and you just keep fighting.
Yeah, the 1-3-1. It changed. Like we couldn't stop when we went to that. You know, like I said, we got 5 of 6 stops or 6 of 7. And then we got a couple run-out layups and got the crowd going a little bit, and our juices got going a little bit, and that changed everything.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate you. I'm going to bed.